What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Not So Black and White podcast. Today is Wednesday, and it is episode number 16. So, on today's episode, well, this is the podcast where we talk about not so boring music technology, anything musically, whatever that I want to talk about, and all that other stuff. This is episode 16, and I actually have topics for today's episode. On today's episode, we are going to talk about the IK Multimedia Uno drum synthesizer. That's kind of the follow-up to their, I guess, Uno synth, because I have some experience with that, so we'll talk about that. We also talk about the Digitone keys. I'm going to talk about Electron's new digital polyphonic synthesizer, something I'm not really interested in, but we'll talk about it. And the Novation Summit synthesizer, maybe something a little bit more interesting. So anyway, first, before we start all that, let's get into a little surprise, not really surprise, but something I have here that I want to talk about really quickly. We finally have put together the big Baba, the big mommy, the big daddy. So it doesn't seem very big, but we have what I consider a really good setup for maybe a starter who wants to get into large format. The 5U style modular is a bit different, but I've had this for about the last week and a little bit. It took me a little bit to pick a case because I wasn't sure what size I wanted to get. So, I got this from Noisebug, which a lot of you guys probably know and have had to order from because they ship everywhere. They're really specialty shop. They're one of the few that does large format 5U modular. And, I got this case. It was like $300 and something. Really nice. It's from Moon. Really, really cool case. So all that said, I really am thankful for Noise Engineering sending me these. I didn't actually think that I was going to do any more modular, but even though I killed the Eurorack modular monster in the Halloween episode, we have the large format, which I think is going to be a little bit more interesting for me personally. There's a lot of things I really like about large format modular. I love the jacks. Like, it just feels better to be using large jacks instead of the tiny 3.5 millimeter like mono plugs. Using the full 1/4 inch jacks is really like, it's just so much more, it just feels so much more solid. Like you're using like a real piece of hardware, like heavy duty stuff. All these modules are digital. Noise Engineering does digital modules. So you'll see I have the Bacillus, which most people know, which is the bottom here. This one. And a bunch of the other ones. So they have some new modules, which they haven't yet announced, which is the CIM up here and the AM, I believe. That's the new one. Really, really cool. Really, really cool. If it were me, I know that the form factor is and the style is very much in the way of 5U modular. Like it's very uniform and very like simplistic design. But I could have gone for a little bit more of a design. I don't even know. Maybe Erica Synths probably would have done something that I would have enjoyed a bit more, but blah, blah, blah. So you guys have the first look. Check on Instagram for some videos I'm going to be posting. I also have to send a bunch to Noise Engineering. So I'm going to send them maybe 5 videos. It'll take me a bit, but I'm going to send them like 5 videos where we do a bunch of stuff about this. So, that's that. So I still have a lot of work to do. All that said, most importantly, the first thing I want to talk about is the Uno drum synth. So the Uno drum synth comes to us from IK Multimedia, the company where everyone thinks that all they do is send me free stuff and let me do demos and speak at NAMM and whatever, which is not true. So, first and foremost, the Uno drum synth is something that I definitely, I don't know if I was expecting it, but I definitely didn't expect them to do it in maybe not right now, because I know there's some other things that they're trying to release and they didn't really tell me about this. So sorry to IK for ignoring your email, because I have an email in my inbox about something and I didn't, whatever. They didn't send it to me. So if you don't send me something and we're supposed to have a relationship, well, then that's that. Like, I don't really even want stuff, but from people who I actually know, like if people from, say, Pittsburgh Modular reach out, I mean, those are my actual friends. So people from Pittsburgh, those are my friends. People from Noise Engineering, I consider my friends. What other companies? People from like 2HP, or even though they never send me anything, I would do something because they're my friends. So IK didn't send me anything, and that's okay. I know that I saw Jacob Hack had a synth, and I'm going to check out his video because, I'm definitely not, I'm not like a gear guy anymore, so I don't really fit. Those people, that's who should get it. So let's talk a little bit about it. The IK Uno drum is an analog and digital drum machine in one. And it's got 6 analog drum sounds, and it's also got 54 different digital samples, which is really good. I'm interested. This is funny. I know people are like big on like analog sounds and stuff, but if you were to come to me and be like, okay, yo, so here's what we got. You can have 6 analog drum sounds, or you can have 54 digital drum sounds. I'd be like, give me the 54 digital sounds. Like, I don't care what. I'm not saying, and that's the thing. It's like people still do that. They're like, oh, the digital sounds are not going to be as good as analog. It's just a different sound. What I'm happy to see is that they did both, because I think that if you were to use the actual IK Multimedia analog engine only, you'd be limited. So having sort of a different sound set for different types of people is really the strength of this piece. Now, the thing I also really like to see is that, and I really thought that this was good on the Uno synth itself, was that the Uno synth had 100 or 99 presets or something. And honestly, those presets are really good. They're really good starting points. Probably, in my opinion, one of the best preset sound banks ever that really showed off how far a synth could go. So when I know people poo-poo like things like presets and stuff, but I do not poo-poo presets because I use presets all the time. There's really no excuse to still be like, oh, presets are bad. Make the song. So when I look at the drum from Uno having 100 presets, I'm really intrigued to see what the sound designers did. I wonder who they got to do the sound design. I didn't do it, so, but I don't think me and Ike have the relationship. All that said, I probably would be interested in doing it, but we'll see one day. Really exciting though, because first and foremost, IK has some really cool stuff from the new speakers that they're releasing. which I can kind of get excited about. I'm not getting them. And I really thought about getting them because my speakers, my event TR8s, are huge, 8 inches. But I don't know. I'm so used to my speakers and they're big. I mean, I'm looking at them right now. They're kind of big, but I just know them. So, but yeah, the IK speakers are probably the only thing I think about, but then I don't know where I'd put my Euro rack, which is so big and sitting on top over there. I don't know where I'd put that. So, because it sits on top of the speaker. But anyway, IK Multimedia doing a drum synth, exciting, but reservations. One, it's the same interface as the Uno synth, which is like a white plastic. And I said this before. I said this about the Uno synth itself. It's not really robust. I know that they talk about. I said it. I said that the knobs are not great. I don't like them. But it's so lightweight that you can almost forget that it is so plasticky. But I mean, it's going to drop down in price to like $149 at some point. You got to forgive it. I'm not really sure. I forgot a bit about the Uno itself, but I don't know if it has an input for like hooking together, kind of like the Volcas. I know it has a MIDI to like 3.5 inch, but not like a dedicated sync. I don't remember, but maybe I'm wrong. So it looks interesting, but I have my reservations. It probably will sound amazing, but we'll see about the longevity of it. And it's just a cheap toy. It sounds great though, so we'll see about the synth, the drum version of the Uno when it comes out soon. So next thing, I want to talk about Digitone keys. Now, a lot of you know I have zero experience with Electron equipment, and the Electron gear honestly is like so, like it's its own ecosystem, I feel. And there are people like Bo Beats and Jeremy from Reverend's Recording who are like killers when it comes to like the whole Uno thing. So when I think about, or I'm sorry, when we talk about the Electron ecosystem, so the Electron ecosystem is very much something that you have to, I believe, wrap your mind around. And I think I've said it before that Electron is kind of its own thing. And if you're good with certain pieces of Electron, you'll be good with all pieces of Electron. Not because like Electron is that difficult to understand. It's just you have to understand the terminology in which they use. So this new, not new, but this new piece from Electron is basically their Digitone on the left and a stupid keyboard that is the ugly as heck on the right. Now, I get why they did this. Obviously, people don't want to have people probably wouldn't want this because like people who are used to Electron and the Digitone and things like the Digitact and that kind of setup, they want to be able to have that interface intact and make sense. Because if Electron made like a typical keyboard style synth, it would kind of not fit what they did, and probably manufacturing wise, it's a lot easier and safer to do something that's just kind of an extension of something you already did. Now, I think it looks hideous, but that's because I hate when companies do that. Like, that's not how I'm going to play a keyboard. I don't get why they would do that. Like, if you're a keyboard player, the knobs should be above your hands when you're playing. Having to move your hands all the way to the left, both hands maybe to do something, it just doesn't make sense. Or I mean, I kind of get like maybe you could use your left hand to turn a knob or something while you're doing something with your right hand and playing a line. But For me, it just doesn't make sense. I don't play that way, and I wouldn't want to have like all the controls all the way to the left. So it just, it irks me a lot to see that ugly style. And I don't, I think they did it before with like the mono machine or something. And it's just, it's so hideous. I don't know how many of those they sell. They look terrible. And I know that it's just me, but that's just how I feel. It's the same exact sound engine. The Digitone keys is going to be an 8-voice polyphonic digital synth. Cool. I really do think that the Digitone has a really cool sound that I could get with if I decided to like produce like that. But as far as me buying one, probably not going to happen. People from Electron know of me, but like I don't put myself out there to kind of get gear from anyone. So, whatever. I think if I ever get the Digitone, I'll love it a ton, but now's just not the time. So don't look forward to the Digitone keys. I don't. So maybe don't make it so ugly, and maybe I'd be into it, but I'm not. So, and lastly, I want to talk about the Novation Summit. Novation Summit is a synth from Novation, and it's basically two Novation peaks within one like keyboard interface. So I definitely didn't think that there would be a market for this because the peak itself is kind of such a good interface on its own that I wouldn't have expected Novation to think that they needed to slap a keyboard onto it. It's combining two Novations in one 61 note keyboard. And I also kind of said to myself, like, I think Novation's really proud of the peak. I know that Annie really has a good time using the Novation peak, and I love the videos that Annie does. So Novation peak sounds fantastic for what it is, and I take my hat off to Novation for doing such a good job. And Enrique, who works at Novation, shout out to him. He lives right around the corner, right at Ruby's, one of my favorite restaurants. So shout out Enrique, who's not hearing this because he doesn't subscribe to this, but still, he's a good guy. He works for Novation. So, but that goes to show you like how far from gear I am. Literally, the guy who could just give me any Novation thing and is my actual friend lives around the corner, and I've never done a piece of Novation gear. So, there's that. Think about that. Shows how much I care about gear. So, the Summit, which is like very cool. I don't think it makes sense like in a way, because at first when I read it, I was like, oh, the Novation Summit, where they're having a summit for Novation. Is this like a meeting? And then I realized, oh, I get it. Like peak summit. Oh, like they could call it like the peak or the top. I forgot. Summit. The peak summit. I don't know. Anyway, I think it looks good. I think that it's great that they changed it to be a keyboard style thing. It didn't just slap the peak, one of the peaks. No, what they have to do is technically they'd have to put two peaks, one on each end. If they're going to do the Electron way, you put one peak on one side, one peak on the other side, and you have to do both of them separately with two hands and a bit of a 61 note keyboard in the middle. That would be the Electron Summit synthesizer if they were going to make one, which thank God they did not. So, looks good. I didn't check how many. I think it must have. Oh, I didn't check the voices, but maybe one of you guys know. I think the peak is 8 voices, so maybe 16 voices. I like the filters. I like all of the like wave table sort of things in Novation, but it's just not what I would pick, and so I don't pick up a peak. It's a little too deep to do videos on. I think that there's other people like Lupop. There's tons of other people who are better fit for this whole thing, and it's not me. So that being said, I won't be getting a Summit in for review, but I look forward to getting a I don't know, something from Super Booth, which is where everyone is. And I'm not really jealous because I'm not going to go back to Berlin. I was just over in Europe, so, which is still a trip. But there's going to be some really cool stuff from Super Booth that I'm looking forward to. I think I'm looking forward to the Voltage Research Lab from Pittsburgh Modular. Probably the, probably Yeah, I would say if there's something I'm excited about, it's that. They're doing something different, and that's exciting for me. So I think that's about it. I mean, you guys are probably interested in Super Booth and what's coming out, and so am I. So I guess we'll be seeing all the new stuff together as the week goes out. And, maybe I'll do like a midweek. Well, it is midweek, but maybe I'll do like a weekend podcast, talk about that. So more updates on the 5U large format coming soon. Video soon. So thanks again for watching, guys, and take care. Peace.